Hello everyone, Stephen Gibson with SG Saber Design. Hope everyone had a great Christmas and Happy New Year. For my final install of the year, it seems to be a thing I guess this year, I have a 2018 KR Sabers V2 with a custom, or not custom, but a crystal reveal. This was done for Dustin. This is the second saber I've done for him. Recently did a Desert Wanderer. So let's take a look at what we've got here. I've been working on this one for quite a while. Kind of feel bad it's taken so long, but I wanted to get this one right because this is a showpiece in my opinion. I don't know who did the stenciling on this. I don't believe it came this way from the factory or from KR, but if it did, they did a fabulous job. I don't know accuracy on any of this stuff. That is not my area. I just do the electronics, and I enjoy them. But this is just an absolutely beautiful piece, and there is a solid pommel that you can use to display when you're not actually using the electronics inside. So when I got this, it was set up, or it was an empty saber that someone had acquired all the parts to do an install and never gotten it done. Dustin got this and sent it to me to get it done, and looking through the parts, it was it was 2018 stuff. I wasn't doing sabers back then, but it was a bunch of single color LEDs. The chassis was a Goth 3D chassis, but it was for a Nano Biscotti or a couple other boards that I would honestly not even heard of. I guess CF, there was a Crystal Focus 9 option. You could cut some pieces away to fit that in. I've never seen that either. So what I did was I redesigned most of the internals with Dustin's permission, and we now have a NeoPixel Proffie 2.2, which is what he sent me, saber. In here we've got our metal blade plug, and I've put a little plastic piece in here just to make sure it doesn't touch the pins, but it should never be able to touch those pins anyway. I just did that for safety. I believe this screw here would allow that piece to come out if you wanted. Then you could just pop that plastic piece out, and then it would be there'd be some shine through if you wanted that. But this will just slot right in there, and if you wanted to hold it in there, you've got your set screw over here. So what I've put in here is, that's a CC Sabers V3 lit PCB, and you can see it does have a area around it. It's kind of recessed so that this will fit down around it. I don't know if a recessed blade would work. If you can find one thin wall enough to go down the extra, I don't know, about 10 or maybe 5 or 6 millimeters. But you don't, it's not required. This will hold a 1-inch blade, and because of the blade depth, I would not suggest swinging it around much with a long blade, but I have put a 36-inch blade in here and used it with no problem. So let's go ahead and take a look at what makes this special. It's a J-lock, so you just twist that, pull off there, and we have in here this beautiful crystal chamber. Got some nice brass work. I believe that's from Shapeways back in the day before they closed. And I added these brass tubes, and there's some brass rods in here as well. And I replaced the 3D printed the resin crystals that they provided that had holes drilled into them for LEDs with actual quartz points, and there's 2 of them pointing at each other. They are very clear, as best I could do, so they don't show as much as like a clouded one would, but they are beautiful when they light up. This whole thing, this is part of the chassis. It is mounted inside here, and it does not come out. Therefore, there is the battery is a wired battery. It is built in. It's a keeppower 18650 protected cell battery wired to a charge controller board, and then wired to a USB-C plug for charging just the battery. The USB-C is only for the battery. It is not for the Proffie. You can get to the Proffie micro USB right there as well. Under the clamp card, we have a activation button up top and our aux button down towards the bottom. I did not swap out your stud, your mystery piece. The one that you sent me, the actual boot stud, is either cast iron or steel. It is very hard, and it has the actual prongs that are used to actually hold it still in the boot, which is what that piece was for. So to use that here, this can be popped out with, if you're careful, a screwdriver or maybe some kind of a plastic or wooden peg under there, and just ease it out. It's just press fit in. But you would have to grind off the little bunny ears that are on the other stud that you had, and then grind the entire stud part down to the size to fit into that hole, and I just don't have that kind of equipment. So that will be in your bag of parts, being returned along with the solid pommel, and just all of the stuff that I didn't use. So to open this up, unscrew the pommel here, just this end cap, the only piece that comes apart here, and we have a blade plug, or not, I'm sorry, we have a speaker pod. Pull that out. We've got two magnets that kind of help hold it in, and then we've got our two pins for the plug for the speaker. So looking inside here, on the bottom we have the two pins that we use for our speaker. Then moving up, we have our USB-C connector. Like I said, this is just for charging. We have our kill switch, and we have a couple magnets that help hold the speaker pod in. I don't really think they're necessary, but they were part of the original design, so I used them. We have our Proffie board here with our SD card, which you can get to with a pair of tweezers or needle-nose pliers, and then our USB micro USB port to do any programming you need to do. It's right up top, and I'm sure there are some plugs that are too big to fit that, but I found the one I use, the straight one I use, works perfectly. I can slide that right in and still reprogram it. I don't know if that's something that you're wanting to do, but if you do, that's how you get to it. So I'm going to turn this on, and because our speaker is not in when we turn it on, we're not going to hear anything. Turn it to the right, and it's on, and we look up here, and we can see our crystals are now glowing. So what I did with the crystals, since I didn't want to use just single LEDs, make them just solid green crystals, which, you know, I'm sure a lot of people have done that and are happy with that. But we have the technology now. I designed inside of my emitter connector holder here, there's a shaft that goes down and holds a micropixel, 5mm micropixel, and there's another one in the base. So there's two separate ones. They're wired together, or they're wired in parallel, not together. So they do the same thing no matter what, but they both light up those separate crystals and they look great. So if we wanted, now I've got my speaker back in, so if we wanted to fire it up, we hit our activation, and you see I've got another Carl Chen PCB up here that connects to a connector inside of here. This is not the one that you see at the end. And you see now they kind of flicker a little bit differently. You can see through the brass grill they've created here. And right now I've got the volume turned way down. My kids are asleep. It's winter break, so they're sleeping all day, it seems like. So we can scroll through and you'll see
Father's lightsaber.
Now we got a loop from
Jedi Knight.
episode 4, his Graflex. So we've got now the blue. And you see that it's blue here as well. Got another Luke, a separate, different Luke. Got a Princess Leia with her lighter blue.
Hello there.
And here we got Obi-Wan. Kylo. Got a nice flicker in there. You can see the emitter kind of sparkling a bit. So let's go ahead and put this back together. So this just goes on gently. Find where those studs are. Let me show you real quick. If you look inside here, there are 3 nylon grub screws that come in, and they fit into these channels. So just find one, or they'll all be together, and then about a quarter of a turn there, and it locks in. Now if we turn it on, now our emitter up here is on. The emitter's still on in here. It will time out eventually, but actually that one probably won't, because that one will not, because it's tied to this one. So if that times out, you don't have your saber working. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a 36-inch blade just to show you that it does work. Like I said, there is not much blade depth here, and you have a 1.5 millimeter grub screw. So if you don't have a 1.5 millimeter hex screwdriver, or just an Allen wrench, you probably should pick one of those up before this gets back to you. So let's go ahead and fire this up. And here we are on a Kylo, and see, I can't really move this around much, but you can see it'll hold it. I would not feel comfortable swinging this around and hitting anything with it, just because it's a thin neck and very limited blade depth no matter what on a thin neck. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. I'll show you. Lights up blue for Anakin. And I'm going to take this blade out and just put in, I've got a little 10-inch test blade here. It's, actually my test blade is not here. I sold it with a previous saber, but I have a Quillian. It's a little 10-inch, and it will work, and I can actually hold it and show it off without hitting things. So on most of these you can change the color if you wanted to, and I will send a printout, because I don't know how familiar you are with Proffie. I know your last one was a CFX. So one thing, if you want to change the volume, you're going to hold activation and then touch aux.
Enter volume menu.
And I set it up with Luke as your voice. So then you're just going to twist it to the right.
Maximum volume.
Or to the left.
Minimum volume.
And then just
exit volume menu.
And now you've got your volume set. If you do it the other way, where you hold aux and hit the power,
battery level 94%.
You can check your battery. Now, like I said, this is the battery is set in there, so when you leave it in there to charge, you can always turn it back on and just test your battery that way. Okay, let's go ahead and see what all we've got on here.
Where is he?
Got Darth Vader.
I am told it is the Dark Saber.
It's your Dark Saber from Book of Boba Fett.
You are fighting against the blade. Rey Skywalker.
Some Emperor.
You are under arrest, my lord.
Some Mace Windu.
Let me give you peace, Master Yaddle.
Got some Dooku as a Jedi. Followed up
Your
by
swords, please. We don't want to make a mess of things in front of the Chancellor.
Dooku as Lord Tyrannus.
Master Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon Jinn. A slightly different version of Emperor.
Their destiny should be trusted to the Force.
Anakin.
At last we will have our revenge.
Darth Maul.
Ninth Sister.
The Ninth Sister. It's a great sounding font.
Mercenary.
Then I've got two grayscale fonts, these free ones. This one is Mercenary. I love this one. It's got a great sound, kind of white and yellow blade. Not going to show up very well on this short blade, but and then I think my favorite one of his is Seethe. Looks great on a long blade. It's dark red with an orange glow at the base. Nice growly sound. And one more, and we're back.
Jedi, like my father before me.
We're back to Luke. And I think the next one was his Graflex. So
The weapon of a Jedi Knight.
So that is, in a nutshell, your Luke V2 on this KR Sabers of 2018 version. When you are not using it, just go ahead and screw this. Oh boy. And we're going to take our speaker pod out, flip our switch to the left, and if you want to charge it, you can plug in your charger here. Don't remember what all I've said because this is my third time trying to do this video. Keep getting interrupted, and I am not much of a video editor. So I would suggest charging this with just take a USB-C cable and plug it into, say, a computer. Just let it charge for an hour or two, and then you can check the battery level. There is a charge controller board in here. It's back here. It does have a light that shows red or green, whether it's charging or full, and I just could not figure out any way to make that visible. I looked at maybe putting the light up here, but that just added a lot of complexity, and there was really no way to get anything else down here. So just plug it in, let it sit for an hour or two, and then you'll be fine. But yeah, just check it every now and then. But if you leave it turned off, Proffie is not going to drain on its own, and it'll last for quite a while. And like I said, it is a protected cell, 18650. So this should have quite a bit of runtime. Now, personally, I would probably, find some way to display it kind of like that. Make some kind of display. Obviously without this. And take that out. Put in your little blade plug. But I am sure you will find all kinds of cool things to do. But that is it. You know how to get a hold of me. If you have any questions, just let me know. And I provide whatever support you need afterwards as well. So, hope everyone has a great holiday, and I will see you guys next year.